Okay, so here we're looking at the back of the Masso controller. We have this 2-pin connector that's going to connect into this port that's labeled laser. And then the other end of the cable is going to connect to the laser's controller. So it's a large connector, but it's only utilizing the 2 wires. And here we have the cable that connects the laser head to the controller. So we'll go ahead and plug that in. Okay, so now we just go ahead and get this thing powered up. As soon as you plug it in, you can see the power light comes on. You're going to see the controller start to boot up. Pressing in the black button will arm and disarm the laser. And then it comes with a set of keys that are needed in order to fire the laser. And once you disarm the safety, you can actually remove the keys. They don't have to be in there in order for it to fire. Now here's the other end of the cable that's coming from the controller, which would normally go to your laser head, or in this case, the Laser Dock Pro. And here you can see there's an empty space to the left of the connector, which is what I needed to do for my setup. So I'm just removing the protective cover from the Laser Dock Pro. And here we have the laser module with the other end of the Laser Dock Pro mounted to it. You can see here there's a bunch of pins on the back that are going to make contact with the other end. And here is basically like an O-ring that is going to seat right there for the air assist. And all these pins make contact with the contact points right there. So just showing you the module a little bit. On this connector right here, I had to intentionally remove one of the wires per the instructions. You can go ahead and tape it up. I'm just have it dangling there for now. And so here on this other connector on the back, I wanted to show you that there are 2 spaces on the right that are not being utilized. And so I just filled those spaces with the provided dust cap. And now you have this air assist tubing that I have mounted on the right-hand side, but you could also mount it over here on the left-hand side by removing a 2.5mm set screw. I had to cut that length of tubing to size, and it just goes between the magnetic mount and the laser module itself. So here I'm just showing you the gap between the laser module and the lens housing. And you'll be able to either screw in the lens housing or unscrew it in order to fine-tune your focus later. And here you can see the 3 tiny set screws that hold the air assist nozzle in place. And here I'm just showing you that an 8mm wrench is used to install these connectors for the air assist. And here I'm showing you the connector for the air assist. This is the one that came pre-installed on the Laser Dock Pro. It was designed for a larger tube, so I removed it and I replaced it with the smaller connector that was provided. These connectors are like shark bite fittings where you push to connect, and they're easy to remove the tubing by pressing down on the blue portion. So here I'm just showing you that it uses a 4mm Allen wrench to attach the mounting plate in 4 locations. And here's an extra lens that was sent with the laser. There are 2, one is better for fine detail and the other one for a more powerful cut. I believe I have the triplet lens installed, which gives you a much better engraving because of the smaller spot size. So here I'm just showing you how you hook the laser onto the dock, and then it snaps in place with the magnets. And then I just install it flush to one side so that I know it's going to be repeatable and that it'll always be in the same location when I take it on and off. Here there's a little bracket that's sent with it that you can actually use to permanently attach the laser head to the dock using a few screws. And here we have the dust cover that goes on to keep it protected when you're not using it. Here I'm just showing you the universal mount that came with the original kit. You can use this to mount the laser basically anywhere by just clamping it down onto a surface. I'm not using it because I'm using the bracket that is designed specifically for the Onefinity. The kit came with a spare, basically like an O-ring or a washer that is used to make the connection for the air assist between the dock and the laser. And here is the cable that comes with the generic kit that you would use to wire to your controller. I used the cable that has the connector for the Onefinity, so I did not use this cable on this install. And here you have the focus block, which is a solid block of aluminum. It has like 3 different markings on it for different focus heights, and you just jog the laser head down until the housing itself is used as the reference. So these safety glasses are really nice because they have the safety markings engraved onto them. And I would caution against using glasses that don't have the safety rating listed on them. So on this Adapter Pro, you can press the button to arm it. Then you can press and hold to go into test mode, where you can turn the dial to adjust the power output of the laser. And then press and hold in order to test fire the laser. Always wear the safety glasses provided and keep other people, children, and pets out of the area when firing the laser. Not doing so can cause permanent eye damage. And another quick press takes it out of test mode, and one more press unarms it. So here you see me messing about. I'm trying to figure out where I want that spindle to sit in relation to the laser. And I ended up deciding on installing it at a height where, with the bit removed from the router, that the laser would sit slightly lower than where the collet is. So in LightBurn, you can click on Device and then Create Manually. Then scroll down and choose Gerbil M3. I prefer choosing inches and millimeters a second because my first laser was a CO2, but you can choose whatever you're comfortable with. I then set the dimensions to 48 by 48 because I have a Onefinity Elite Foreman and those are its dimensions. I then name the laser Lasers Onefinity CNC and hit Next. I kept the origin as the front left and I disabled Auto Home on startup. I hit Next, Finish, and then OK. You can see that Lasers is now the selected device. I then go up to Device Settings, I choose Basic Settings, and then I change the S value max from 255 to 1000. I hit OK, and then I go over and I change my start from position from absolute coordinates to current position for this test. I then go over to File, Import, and I select the Lasers logo. I then go over and I dimension it by typing in an exact dimension. And then I right click, I go to Trace Image, and we're going to convert it into vectors. I always like to hit Fade Image so I can see the vectors better. You can then manipulate a bunch of things and hit OK when you're happy. I then drag off the image and I'm left with these filled vectors. I'm now going to try to clean up these vectors by going up to Edit and selecting the Optimize Selected Shapes. And you can see there's a few settings here that you can mess with, but it's just gives you an opportunity to try to smooth out and clean up some of these vectors. That trace feature in LightBurn, as well as this Optimize Shapes, it's a super powerful tool, and it would probably benefit from having an entire video just dedicated to it. So my objective is to create as few nodes as possible while making it smooth and aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so now I go up to my cut layer settings and I choose the max power of 100 and I change the speed to 40 millimeters per second. I turn on overscan to give myself some clean edges and I do a preview. Everything looks good, so I go ahead and I click on Save G-Code. So you're just going to name this file whatever you want, and you're going to save it to a thumb drive, which you're going to take over to the Onefinity. While I was in LightBurn, I also created a couple of test grids, one for engraving and one for cutting. And we use these in order to dial in your settings based on the material that you're using. If anyone's interested, leave a comment and I'll make a video on how to design that. So you saw I just did the engraving test, and here I am measuring the material, and now I'm running a cut test. So in a second you're going to see me stop the test because it was already punching through the material, and these were just doing extra passes, which was just disintegrating the material. Now, I didn't use any air assist when I made these cuts. If you use an air assist, it can make the cuts cleaner and potentially even allow you to cut deeper or with less passes. So here we have the glasses, and I'm just going to show you guys really quick. I'm going to fire the laser, and I'm going to show you what it looks like with and without the glasses. So now I'm doing a ramp test to determine and dial in the focus of the laser. The idea is you take a piece of material and you prop it up on something to create a ramp. You then look for the thinnest part of the kerf of the laser, and that's where the focus is. So you could see me adjusting by threading the barrel that houses the lens. I'm threading that cylinder in and out in order to fine-tune the focus of the laser. I'm adjusting the focus until it matches up with the focus block. I figure this will make my life easier in the future. The key is to run the laser at a steady speed when you're doing this test. So you'll see me marking the thinnest part of the kerf. You then jog your laser back over to it and you measure, and that's how you determine the focal height. And I'm going to call it good because it now matches the focus block. So here I'm just throwing a little mark on the cylinder and the laser so I know when it's lined up and in focus. Alright, so now we're all in focus and we're going to run that program we designed in LightBurn. I want to give a huge shout out to Op Lasers for sending me this laser. I already have quite a few ideas how I'm going to integrate this into my designs and my workflow. If you guys are finding this content helpful at all, please go ahead and subscribe so that you can be notified of future videos. And if you're thinking about grabbing a laser for your CNC, please consider using the affiliate link in the description. It'll really help the channel out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.